welcome to episode 12 of the Roma Revolution. I'm Ben, and coming up on today's episode we have a big update of all our summer transfer activity here at Roma as we prepare for the new Serie A season, looking to break into that title race. And obviously this year we've also got the added bonus of Champions League football. Also on today's episode we will have our first two games of the Serie A season against Inter Milan and Torino. But since you were last with me, with obviously the Dortmund game, a lot of things have changed. And that starts really with the transfers. So the likes of Zappacosta, Smalling, who we had in last year on loan, are now no longer with us. I've not decided to bring them back permanently at all. They did a job for us last year, but they were slightly older and I thought we'd potentially be able to get in some younger versions. Obviously, the likes of Mancini, Ibanez and Vetu, who were all here last year, already had transfers arranged to come to Roma. So they've all come in. Mancini obviously being a real star for us last year. Vetu is a really good rotation option and Ibanez is the young star who's got potential going forward. That did eat into a big chunk of the transfer budget that the board would have given me, because at the end of all that I was only given around £2.5 million to go out and spend. So we've become a bit of a lone FC, and that has started with a few good youngsters. So Kik Pieri, he's in from Ajax, again on the left hand side. The reason I'm getting these in on loan, who potentially got a lot of potential, I'm thinking if we get a year out of them, see what they're like, see if they grow well this year, when it comes to us potentially having a bit more money next year, we might be able to bring them in permanently. Obviously Kolarov on that left hand side, so Kik Pieri, a really good young option for him going forward, so he's come in from Ajax. We've then also got Mason Greenwood, a name that many of you in England or following the Premier League will be familiar with. He's come in up front again. Dzeko getting that little bit older, so another good rotation option, and if we can get him in permanently after this year, that would be fantastic. First proper signing then was Walker Falanez, a Venezuelan goalkeeper. He's got the potential to just be slightly better than Pau Lopez. Bit younger as well, so he will be our main goalkeeper to start with, but we've obviously got Pau Lopez there in the background as a good backup as well. We've then got Dejan Kulusevski on the right hand side, again providing a bit of cover for the likes of Zaniolo and Under on that right hand side, just so we've got a few more options. Zaniolo and Under, really, obviously we stopped playing with wingers last year, didn't overly impress me, so hopefully Kulusevski can be a little bit better than them this year when he breaks into the team. Only 20, on loan from Juventus, so another decent signing. On the other side to him, another proper signing, Victor Melejo from Atletico Madrid has come to us here at Roma. 2.5 star current ability, but the potential to be 4.5 star. He looks like he's going to be a really good young talent. Not too slow, but he's got a good little bit of pace to him. He's going to play on that left hand side, an area where we obviously have got Kluivert, and I'm still trying to get rid of Diego Perotti, but no one wants to pay his wages. So again, he's just providing some good competition out there. We've also got a couple of other youngsters out there who are coming up through the youth system. So the left hand side is youthful, but looking like it's potentially going to be a good left hand side in the future, and that is included with Marc Cucurella, who is now going to be our main left back. He's on loan from Barcelona, again only 22 years old. He looks like he's going to be a really good option on that left hand side, and again another one that I'll hopefully, if he's played well enough this year, be looking to bring in and get rid of Kolarov at the end of it. And the final signing we've made, just again as a bit of backup at right back, is Ethan Laird from Man United. Again, only a youngster, but he's got really good pace and acceleration, so hopefully he can bomb up and down that right hand side when he features in the first team. To equal out a couple of the big signings then, we have managed to get rid of mainly some players who were on loan last year, came back to us and we got rid of them. The two big names, Nzonzi's gone to Southampton, a player I wasn't really going to be using, with the likes of Tonali, Pellegrini and Diawara in the midfield. So we got £5.5 million for him, and we also got £6 million for a third choice goalkeeper who has gone to Norwich. He went for £6 million. Again, he wasn't going to feature in any of my plans, especially once I'd bought in Vuka Falanez. And that means, therefore, going into our first game against Inter Milan with a slightly different tactic than last year, this is the team that's going to line up. So we have got Falanez in goal, a back four of Cucurella, Mancini, Mert, Settin and Florenzi. Tonali will play behind Cristante and Pellegrini in midfield, with new signing Melejo on the left, with Zaniolo on the right, behind Mason Greenwood making his full Roma debut up front. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Let's see if this team has got what it takes to compete at the top of Serie A this season. Obviously, Inter, a team that did finish outside of the Champions League places last year. I think they ended up being 6th, actually. So they've got a lot to prove this year. Obviously, they've got some good young players in Lautaro Martinez, and obviously then some older statesmen with Handanovic, Eriksson obviously in there as well, previously of Tottenham. Chiesa, a new youngster that's come in for them in the transfer window, it would seem. So it's not going to be an easy task, but hopefully it's a task that we can get past. Let's go and give the fans something to cheer for on the first day of the season. As always, we have faith in the boys. Send the assistant to the tunnel and let's get stuck in. As I say, this year's tactic, we're looking to control the possession a little bit more, but still try and create as many chances as we did last year, just to see if that might give us an edge in those tighter games that obviously we didn't quite see out last year. I think we won enough last year. It was the draws that didn't get us there, but we do have the first highlight, and it came to Greenwood, but he couldn't quite head home from the Pellegrini corner. But we've got another chance, and Pellegrini puts it in again to Greenwood, and Handanovic saves, and it goes over. Again, another corner coming our way. Greenwood's looked lively in the opening stages from these corners. Can he beat Handanovic to it again? He can't. But a couple of good early chances for Mason Greenwood, who's looked good in pre-season, and fingers crossed he can transfer that into the actual season. Greenwood gets on the end of it again to force Melejo, who can't quite turn it in. And in the early stages, we seem to have had a few good chances. And fingers crossed we won't rue missing those. Melejo cutting inside from the left to Tonali, who puts a great ball to Florenzi. Is he going to be able to get a cross in? He pulls it back to Zaniolo. Back to Tonali. Cristante. Out to Cucurella. What's he going to do with it? Is he going to bet somewhere? It's fallen to Melejo. And again, we can't quite put the chance away, but we have looked really good. We've not let Inter have anything at the moment. We just need to put one of these chances in the goal, and we're building from the back. Pellegrini. Out to Melejo on this left-hand side. He puts a lovely ball in. Is it going to be great? Greenwood, it is! Mason Greenwood on his Roma debut scores the opener for us in the Serie A season. A great link-up from some new signings. Pellegrini out to Melejo, who cuts inside beautifully on this left-hand side. Finds Greenwood. One touch and slots it away. And what a start to his Roma career. As I say, a man that I've been looking to bring in on loan with the view to buying him permanently at the end of the season. And if he can keep scoring goals like that, then he'll definitely be one on top of the shopping list when it comes to the summer next year. But we've looked really good in this first half. Cucurella, Mancini, Tonali. Can we grab another one before half time? Pellegrini back to Tonali. Cucurella, Cristante, Cucurella, again Melejo making runs, and it's into Greenwood, and they link up again for a second. Two young stars coming through the Roma ranks, it would seem. Melejo here permanently, Greenwood obviously only on loan, but Cucurella links up with Melejo, who puts another cross in, and Greenwood beats his two men to it. And it's a debut double for Mason Greenwood. And what a first half. No shots for Inter. We've completely dominated the game. And can we repeat that in the second half? We don't want to get complacent. They've played really well, but there is the risk that we go out there thinking the job is done. We know what can happen to this team. We saw it last year when we were 2 goals ahead and we ended up drawing 2-2. But if we can just get that out of our game and keep hold of leads like this, then I think we will have a serious chance of challenging for that Serie A title. And Greenwood has made himself a Roma hero already on day one with 2 goals and Melejo 2 assists. They look like 2 really good youngsters that we could build the team around this year. We've not seen much of this second half, but just for fitness purposes, Cucurella wasn't quite fully match fit coming into the game, so Kolarov can come on for him on the left-hand side. That's the only change we'll make at the moment. I don't want to change too much with the way we're playing. just a bit of experience on in Kolarov to see out the game. And it looks like we've got a corner. Pellegrini, and we've hit the bar. I think it was set in that time. The first chance we've seen of the second half, set in with the header from another great Pellegrini corner. It can only hit the bar, but with 5 minutes to go, Pellegrini himself starting to just get a bit tired, so he can come off. We'll bring Diawara on for him to go into that role. Malejo, again, he's had a great game, starting to struggle, so Kluivert can come on for him. We'll switch him over, of course, to his preferred inside forward role. And that will be that for the last 5 minutes. Will we see another highlight? I don't know. It's been quite a quiet second half, but I think the way we played in the first half set up the game, and we've just shut it off in the second half. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that a Mason Greenwood double on the opening day of the season. And Roma have beaten Inter Milan 2-0. And is that the start of a really good Serie A season? We'll find out in a second and see if we can carry that on against Torino. Okay then folks, so in between the two games, our Champions League group was drawn. It's a slightly tough one. It could have been a lot worse looking at the teams that are in the competition. But we're going to be going to face Chelsea, Besiktas and Leipzig. Chelsea probably the favourites to win the group. Us and Leipzig probably the main two that are going to battle it out for second place. But Besiktas can't be forgotten about. Obviously a team we faced in the knockout stages last year of the Europa League. We did beat them then, but they did certainly give us a good game. So an interesting draw. Games obviously that we will be seeing later on in the series of this season. But for now, let's focus on Torino. We're going unchanged. I think we had a really good first day. We've got no injuries. No one's struggling for fitness or anything along those lines. So we're going to go unchanged and see if we can follow up that really impressive win against Inter Milan with another one against Torino, who themselves were completely annihilated 4-0 at home on the first day of the season. So I'm hoping that today can be a day that we can beat them. Obviously a team we did struggle against last year, one of the 5 teams that did beat us, but hopefully we can get one over on them this year and keep the start to the season that we've had going. Obviously we do want to pick off where we left off last time. Really impressive. And hopefully, as I say, we can do the same again and make a really solid start to the Serie A season. Obviously a long way to go, but I think a solid start is always good to have. You don't want to be chasing the pack from the early stages. If we can be setting that pace for everyone else to chase, then that would be ideal. Again, the board are only looking for us this year to repeat last year's success and finish in the Champions League spaces. Something I hope we can do, but not if we do this. And Falksin and Farlin is the first we've seen of him in a Roma shirt on the series, and he makes a good save from a Mert-setting mistake. There is a corner from it though. Verdi, Mancini heads away. It's bobbling about in the area of Malejo. He's got a chance to break here. Can we see the same combination link up as they did in the first game? Malejo on this left-hand side, he's gone towards the back of the area. It's fallen to Tonali, Florenzi, and that is the end of the highlight. But an awful mistake from Settin. And Falque was in for Torino, but couldn't quite slot it home. And we haven't seemed as bright as we did in that first game. We're still dominating the possession, but we haven't created as much with it as we did in the first game against Inter Milan. And as time ticks by, we're not seeing much again of a first half. And are Torino going to become a bit of a bogey team for us on the series? It seems so. Obviously, as I said, we struggled against them last year in the league. And a first half where we've seen nothing of us. And hopefully we need better in the second half. The performance has been disappointing. Far from pleased with what we're seeing. Can we come out and turn it around in the second half? A few players, Greenwood, Malejo, may be struggling with the occasion of their first home game for Roma. I'd hope not, seeing they obviously had such solid debuts, but it could be the case. But we've got a corner. Pellegrini swung towards the back post, and Greenwood, who I've just said might be struggling on his first start at the home ground. He's not. He's scored at the Stadio Olimpico. That's his 3rd goal in 2 games. Pellegrini with the corner. Settin heads. Great save, it has to be said, from Sirigu to start with. But he can only see it fall as past as the new star, Mason Greenwood. And that could be a goal that just settles some nerves. We're still having a few bad games. Malejo, I'm seeing on this left-hand side, as potentially one of the worst. He can come off. We've always got Kluivert on the bench to come in for him. And as usual, he'll switch to the inside forward role. But Greenwood has looked really bright in these first 2 games. Could that be the sort of signing that just sees us over the line with a better place finish than we did last year? Cucurella has picked up a lock, so we're going for a completely changed left-hand side with 22 minutes to go. Hopefully it's nothing too serious for him. But we've got the ball at the back with Torino. Izzo and Nkulu popping about. Back to Sirigu. He's being pressed well by Zaniolo, but they're able to get it to Urzi on their left-hand side. Falke, who obviously caused the damage potentially in the first half. Michelotti. Rinken, they're building it really well. Maite, we've got to be careful. There's balls on for them here. There's gaps appearing in our defence. Falke. Rinken. Really well pressed. We're pushing them back nicely. Zaniolo nips in from a poor pass out of the fence. What's Zaniolo going to do? Can he score? It's a tame effort at Sirigu. A chance to probably put the game to bed. Nicolo Zaniolo jutting in from that right-hand side. But it's a poor effort. But it does seem like Kolarov is going to have a chance for the free kick. His speciality. Can he do something? He's hit the post. A fantastic free kick from Kolarov. Can only see the post turn it away. I feel like we do just need another goal to secure it. Zaniolo's coming off. We're going to see the first of Kulusevski in a Roma shirt. And fingers crossed, as I say, with 10 minutes to go, we can just see this out. Again, we've made well of the ball. Certainly in the second half, the stats are looking much better. It's going to be a scrappy 1-0 if it stays as it is. But Pellegrini with the corner. It's a chance, it seems, for Torino to attack. Bernaguer on the right-hand side. Are we going to be killed late by Michelotti? I think that is a fantastic save by New Boy in the goal, Florenzi. If we can just get out of the corner, Di Silvestri well blocked by Kulusevski. Let's have a look at this. I think it's a great save. Michelotti, Urzi, Michelotti, Rinken. They're still coming at us late on. Are we going to lose the lead? Cristante does really well. And Farinez has saved us the game. 1-on-1. He flew off his line. And it's a 1-0 victory, perhaps not quite as convincing as what we saw against Inter Milan, but a win nonetheless. Farinez, the hero at the end. Greenwood, the new star with 3 goals in the episode. And a really positive start to the Serie A season. We weren't good enough today, but I suppose that's the sign of teams that are meant to be at the top of the league. Even when they're not at their best, they're still winning, and hopefully that can be the motto for the season and we can grind out a few more results and put us in a better position this year. The next episode, I'm not going to play many in between because of the Champions League, so we'll miss the Verona game. That will be played offline, but then we'll see our first game in charge of Roma in the Champions League against Leipzig, and that will be followed by Sampdoria, who it would seem have also had a really solid start to the Serie A season. But I do hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you have, please leave a like down below for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new or not yet subscribed for more daily and Football Manager content. And thank you very much for watching.